Let me talk to you for a moment. Right now, somewhere in this world, there's a person thinking deeply about you. They are weighing your value. They are deciding your place in their life. They are asking themselves a powerful question. Do I move forward with this person or do I let them go? And let me tell you something. This decision is not just about them. It's about who you have shown yourself to be. Every conversation you've had, every action you've taken, every moment of patience, respect, silence, strength, and self-worth, all of it is being added up. People don't just decide suddenly. They observe. They watch how you handle pressure. They watch how you react when things don't go your way. They watch how you treat them when you're upset. They watch how you carry yourself when no one is clapping for you. Some of you are nervous right now because you can feel the shift. The texts are different. The calls are different. The energy is different. And you're wondering what's happening. What's happening is a decision is being made. But instead of being scared, I want you to be confident. Because if you stayed true to yourself, if you stood in your worth, if you respected your boundaries, then no matter what decision they make, you still win. See, when someone decides to choose you, it's a blessing. But when someone decides to walk away, it's protection. Sometimes God removes people not to hurt you, but to save you from something you can't see yet. If a person is struggling to decide your value, then maybe they don't deserve access to your heart. Because someone who truly sees your worth doesn't hesitate. They don't pause. They don't play games. They choose you with clarity and intention. Let me talk to you for a moment. Somewhere right now, there is a person thinking deeply about you. They are weighing your value, measuring your presence in their life, and deciding whether you are someone they want to keep, grow with, and invest in, or someone they are slowly preparing to let go. And whether you realize it or not, this decision is not being made in a single moment. It is being shaped by every word you have spoken, every action you have taken, and every way you have shown up when it mattered the most. People don't wake up one day and suddenly decide your worth. They observe you in silence. They watch how you respond under pressure. They notice how you treat them when you are tired, frustrated, or disappointed. They pay attention to your tone, your patience, your honesty, and your consistency. Every small detail becomes part of a bigger picture. The way you listen, the way you react, the way you respect boundaries, and the way you honor commitments all slowly build the story of who you truly are. Some of you can feel that something is changing. The conversations don't flow the same. The energy feels different. The connection feels uncertain. You might be replaying messages in your mind, searching for hidden meanings, wondering what went wrong or what you could have done differently. And in that uncertainty, fear starts creeping in. Fear of losing someone, fear of not being enough, fear of being forgotten. But let me tell you something powerful. When you stay rooted in your self-worth, uncertainty loses its power over you. If you have shown up with sincerity, if you have been honest, loyal, respectful, and real, then you have already done your part. You cannot control someone else's decision, but you can control the integrity of your own action. And when you know you gave your best, you gain a quiet confidence that no outcome can shake. Because no matter what choice they make, you still walk away with your dignity intact. Sometimes people struggle to decide because they are fighting their own fears, insecurities, and past wounds. It is not always about you. Some people are afraid of commitment. Some are afraid of responsibility. Some are afraid of emotional depth. Some are afraid of change. And when they see someone genuine standing in front of them, it forces them to confront parts of themselves they would rather ignore. So instead of choosing love, they choose comfort. Instead of choosing growth, they choose familiarity. Instead of choosing truth, they choose avoidance. That is why you should never beg to be chosen. You should never chase someone into seeing your value. You should never shrink yourself to fit into someone else's uncertainty. The moment you start proving your worth, you forget your worth. Real connection does not require convincing. It requires alignment. When someone truly recognizes your value, their choice becomes natural, not forced. If a person walks away, it does not mean you were not enough. Sometimes it simply means they were not ready. And readiness is not something you can teach, demand, or create. It is a personal journey. Everyone grows at their own pace, and not everyone is meant to grow alongside you. Some people come into your life to teach you lessons. Some come to awaken your strengths. Some come to prepare you for something greater. And some leave to make space for better things. When you understand this, you stop viewing endings as failures. You start seeing them as redirections. You start trusting that what leaves your life is creating room for what truly belongs. And in that space, you begin to discover parts of yourself that were hidden beneath attachment, fear, and doubt. You realize how strong you are. You realize how resilient your heart is. You realize that your worth has never depended on someone else's decision. While someone is deciding what role you play in their life, you should also be deciding what role they play in yours. Are they bringing peace or confusion? Are they offering clarity or chaos? Are they adding value or draining your energy? Because a healthy connection should not make you question your worth. It should remind you of it. It should not make you anxious. It should make you feel secure. It should not make you chase. It should make you feel chosen. There is great power in staying calm during uncertain times. Silence, patience, and self-control reveal strength. When you resist the urge to over-explain, over-text, or over-prove, you protect your dignity. And dignity has a way of commanding respect, even in silence. The way you carry yourself when things are unclear speaks louder than any desperate attempt to hold on. So stand firm in who you are. Keep growing. Keep improving. Keep believing in your value. Let your character speak. Let your actions tell your story. And trust that the right people will always recognize your worth without hesitation, without confusion, and without delay. Let me take you deeper into this. When someone is making a big decision about you, there is a silent evaluation happening. They are not only looking at what you say, but how you live. They are observing your consistency, your emotional maturity, and your ability to handle situations that are uncomfortable. People want to feel safe in a connection, and safety is built through stability, honesty, and trust over time, not through grand promises or dramatic gestures. Every time you chose patience instead of anger, you added weight to your value. Every time you chose understanding instead of blame, you strengthened your presence. Every time you stay calm instead of reacting emotionally, you show depth and control. These small moments might seem insignificant to you, but to someone deciding your place in their life, they are everything. Because it is in those moments that your true character is revealed. At the same time, people notice when effort becomes one-sided. They notice when you are always the one reaching out, always the one explaining, always the one trying to fix what you did not break. And sometimes they start taking that effort for granted. Not because you lack value, but because familiarity can create comfort, and comfort can create carelessness. That is why balance is important. Love, respect, and attention should flow both ways. The moment you feel like you are carrying the entire emotional weight, it is time to pause and reflect. Uncertainty is one of the most uncomfortable feelings a human being can experience. It keeps your mind restless, your heart unsettled, and your spirit anxious. You start questioning everything, your words, your actions, your choices. You replay conversations, searching for mistakes that may not even exist. But living in constant analysis drains your energy and weakens your emotional strength. Peace comes when you accept that not everything is within your control. You cannot force clarity from someone who is confused. You cannot force commitment from someone who is uncertain. And you cannot force effort from someone who is unwilling. The more you try to control the outcome, the more you lose yourself in the process. True power comes from surrendering the need to control and trusting your own worth instead. Sometimes people step back, not because they don't care, but because they are overwhelmed. Life pressures, emotional baggage, fear of vulnerability, and unresolved pain can cause someone to retreat. When they are faced with the possibility of something real, it forces them to confront emotions they have avoided for years. And instead of leaning in, they pull away. Not because you are unworthy, but because they aren't prepared. That is why it is so important to remain grounded in your own identity. Your value does not increase when someone chooses you, and it does not decrease when someone walks away. You were valuable before they noticed you, and you will remain valuable after they leave. The danger lies in tying your self-worth to someone else's acceptance. When you do that, you give them power over your emotional well-being. Strong people love deeply, but they also know when to let go. They understand that attachment should never come at the cost of self-respect. They know that walking away from uncertainty can sometimes be the bravest form of self-love. Because choosing yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. When you stop chasing clarity and start choosing peace, everything shifts. You begin to focus on your growth. You invest in your goals. You strengthen your mindset. You improve your emotional intelligence. And as you evolve, you naturally attract people who are aligned with your energy. People who do not question your presence. People who do not make you doubt your worth. People who see your value without being reminded. The way you carry yourself during uncertain times speaks volumes. Calmness shows maturity. Silence shows strength. Patience shows emotional depth. You do not need to announce your worth. It is reflected in your standards, your boundaries, and your actions. And when you operate from a place of self-respect, you set the tone for how others treat you. So allow others the space to make their decisions. Do not interfere. Do not manipulate. Do not pressure. Let their choice reveal their capacity. And while they are deciding, stay committed to your own growth. Because the most powerful position you can be in is not waiting to be chosen, but knowing that you are already enough. There is a quiet strength that develops when you stop waiting for someone else to decide your future and start deciding it for yourself. When you realize that your happiness, your peace, and your purpose are not tied to anyone's approval, something powerful shifts inside you. You stop chasing validation. You stop seeking reassurance. You start living in emotional suspense. Instead, you begin to move with confidence, clarity, and inner stability. When someone is making a big decision about you, the temptation is to perform, to impress, to overgive, and to overextend yourself just to be chosen. But real connection does not come from performance. It comes from authenticity. When you show up as your true self, you allow the right people to recognize you, and you allow the wrong people to walk away. Both outcomes serve a purpose. Some people come into your life as mirrors. They reflect your insecurities, your fears, and your emotional wounds. Their hesitation forces you to confront parts of yourself that still need healing. You start realizing how deeply you want to be understood, how badly you crave emotional security, and how strongly you desire connection. And in that awareness, you get an opportunity to grow. You learn to comfort yourself. You learn to trust your instincts. You learn to give yourself the reassurance you once sought from others. Growth often feels uncomfortable because it requires change. It requires letting go of old patterns, old habits, and old beliefs that no longer serve you. You begin to notice how often you compromise your needs for the sake of peace. You begin to see how frequently you ignore red flags because of emotional attachment. And slowly you start choosing differently. You start choosing what aligns with your values instead of what feeds your fears. There is a powerful lesson in emotional restraint. Not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every feeling needs to be expressed. Not every emotion needs to be acted upon. Sometimes silence is wisdom. Sometimes distance is clarity. Sometimes patience is protection. When you give situations time, truth reveals itself naturally. People show you who they are when you stop chasing their potential and start observing their actions. One of the hardest things to accept is that love alone is not enough. Respect, communication, effort, and emotional availability are equally important. Without these, even the strongest feelings eventually weaken. And when you realize this, you stop romanticizing uncertainty. You stop glorifying emotional struggle. You start seeking stability instead of excitement, peace instead of intensity, and consistency instead of chaos. As you evolve, your standards begin to change. You no longer tolerate mixed signals. You no longer settle for half effort. You no longer accept confusion as normal. You understand that clarity is a form of respect, and anyone who truly values you will offer it willingly. You stop making excuses for people's emotional unavailability and start honoring your own emotional needs. There is also strength in accepting endings without bitterness. Holding on to anger, resentment, or regret only keeps you emotionally tied to the past. Forgiveness is not about excusing behavior. It is about freeing yourself from emotional burden. When you release what no longer serves you, you create space for peace, joy, and new opportunities. You allow yourself to move forward without carrying old wounds into new beginnings. During times of uncertainty, it is important to stay connected to your purpose. When your life revolves around someone else's decision, you lose sight of your own dreams. You forget your goals. You delay your progress. But when you redirect your energy towards self-improvement, productivity, and growth, your entire perspective shifts. You become more fulfilled, more focused, and more resilient. Every experience, whether joyful or painful, shapes your emotional intelligence. It teaches you empathy, patience, understanding, and strength. And as you gain these qualities, you become capable of building deeper, healthy connections. You learn to love without losing yourself. You learn to care without compromising your boundaries. You learn to connect without attaching your identity to another person. So continue to rise, continue to heal, continue to grow. Let every uncertain moment become a stepping stone toward emotional maturity. Let every difficult decision refine your character. And let every experience prepare you for connections that are rooted in clarity, respect, and mutual understanding. At some point, you begin to understand that waiting for someone's decision can quietly drain your spirit if you allow it to. You start measuring your days by their responses, your moods by their attention, and your peace by their consistency. And without realizing it, you slowly give away control over your emotional state. This is why emotional independence is so important. When your happiness depends on someone else, you place your inner world in their hands, and that is a fragile position to be in. Learning to stay emotionally strong means learning to be present with yourself. It means listening to your own thoughts, honoring your feelings, and trusting your instincts. There is a wisdom within you that already knows what you deserve. The challenge is learning to quiet the noise of fear, attachment, and expectation so that you can hear it clearly. When you do, your decisions become more intentional, your boundaries become firmer, and your relationships become healthier. There is beauty in becoming self-sufficient emotionally. You begin to enjoy your own company. You find peace in solitude. You no longer need constant reassurance to feel secure. And from that place of inner fullness, you connect with others more authentically. You are no longer seeking someone to complete you, but someone to complement you. This shift transforms the way you love, the way you communicate, and the way you invest your energy. As your emotional awareness grows, so does your ability to recognize unhealthy patterns. You start noticing cycles of inconsistency, emotional distance, and avoidance. You begin to understand the difference between someone who is temporarily overwhelmed and someone who is emotionally unavailable. This awareness empowers you to make choices that protect your peace instead of sacrificing it. You become more selective, not because you are closed off, but because you are emotionally intelligent. Patience plays a crucial role in this journey. True patience is not passive waiting, it is active trust. It is the ability to remain calm while allowing life to unfold naturally. It is choosing peace over panic. It is trusting that clarity will come in its own time. And often when you release the need for immediate answers, the answers appear effortlessly. You also learn that timing is everything. Two good people can meet at the wrong time. Two sincere hearts can cross paths when one is ready and the other is still healing. And in those moments, love alone cannot bridge the gap. Understanding this helps you let go without bitterness. It helps you accept that sometimes things do not end because they are wrong, but because they are early. Every experience, even the painful one, serves as preparation. Each emotional challenge strengthens your resilience. Each disappointment sharpens your discernment. Each heartbreak deepens your empathy. You start seeing life as a series of lessons rather than losses. And with that mindset, nothing truly breaks you. It only shapes you. When someone hesitates to choose you, it becomes an invitation to choose yourself more deeply, to invest in your health, your goals, your passions, and your growth, to pour into your dreams, to build a life that excites and fulfills you. Because a life rooted in purpose creates a natural confidence that no external validation can replace. As you become more aligned with yourself, your energy changes. You move differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself with quiet assurance. And people notice, not because you are trying to impress, but because authenticity has a magnetic pull. When you are comfortable in your own skin, you attract connections that are genuine, respectful, and emotionally mature. In time, you realize that clarity is a gift, even when it arrives through loss. It frees you from confusion. It releases you from emotional suspense. It gives you permission to move forward. And with each step forward, you create space for deeper connections, stronger bonds, and greater fulfillment. There comes a moment when you finally understand that not every door that closes is a loss. Some doors close because they were never meant to lead you forward. Some paths end because they were only meant to take you part of the way. And some people leave because their role in your story has been fulfilled. When you accept this, you stop resisting endings and start embracing transformation. Emotional strength is built in the moments when you choose grace over bitterness. It is easy to become resentful when things do not go as planned. It is easy to hold on anger, replay conversations, and wish you could rewrite certain moments. But growth requires forgiveness. Not because others deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Letting go of resentment frees your mind, lightens your heart, and allows you to move forward without carrying unnecessary emotional weight. As you evolve, you begin to understand that peace is more valuable than attachment. You stop clinging to connections that drain you. You stop chasing people who cannot meet you emotionally. You stop forcing conversations that should flow naturally. And in doing so, you create space for relationships that nourish your spirit rather than exhaust it. There is a quiet power in attachment, not indifference, but emotional balance. It is the ability to care deeply without losing yourself. It is the ability to love without becoming dependent. It is the strength to walk away from what no longer serves your growth. When you master this balance, your relationships become healthier, your boundaries become clearer, and your self-respect becomes unshakable. One of the greatest lessons life teaches is that you cannot save everyone. You cannot heal someone who is unwilling to heal. You cannot change someone who does not want to change. And you cannot love someone into becoming emotionally available. People must choose growth for themselves. Your role is not to fix, but to support when support is welcomed, and to step back when it is not. There is also a profound beauty in vulnerability. Allowing yourself to feel deeply, to connect honestly, and to express authentically takes courage. It exposes you to the possibility of pain, but it also opens the door to genuine connection. Without vulnerability, relationships remain shallow. Without openness, intimacy cannot exist, but vulnerability must be shared with those who are capable of honoring it. Not everyone deserves access to your deepest emotions. As your emotional intelligence grows, you begin to recognize the difference between attention and intention. Attention is temporary. It comes and goes. It is fueled by convenience, curiosity, and desire. Intention, however, is deliberate. It is consistent. It is purposeful. And is rooted in respect. When someone shows you intention, their actions align with their words, their presence is steady, their commitment is clear. Learning to distinguish between the two protects your heart. It saves you from investing deeply in fleeting connections. It helps you reserve your energy for people who are emotionally mature and genuinely invested. And it allows you to experience relationships that are grounded in trust, stability, and mutual understanding. There is a deep sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing you gave your best without losing yourself, from knowing you loved sincerely without abandoning your boundaries, from knowing you stayed true to your values, even when it was difficult. That sense of integrity becomes your emotional anchor. No matter how circumstances change, you remain centered, confident, and whole. Every chapter of your life contributes to the person you are becoming. The joy teaches you gratitude. The pain teaches you resilience. The uncertainty teaches you patience. And the endings teach you faith. Faith in your journey, faith in your growth, faith in what is yet to come.